Our observation, our research in last couple of years has given us some understanding that although the preschools or daycare centers, they start the service for the children who would be coming to their center as daycare children, but the centers most often they lack a system, they lack some processes which can support such children to get maximum benefit from such daycare center. So with such understanding, we thought we'll be contributing in that area to bring out the daycare kit, which will not only help the daycare centers to convert their centers to a very, very professional center, but also help to maximum extent to the parents who completely depend on such centers to ensure their children are getting best of the support system in order to grow in their lives. So we are announcing the launch of India's first comprehensive daycare kit. And this daycare kit is the volume 1 in this order. And the particular daycare kit, what we are bringing to you is meant for basically children from 2.5 years till 6.5 years of age. So whole daycare kit is designed by keeping this particular age group in mind. And needless to say, in the coming years, we are bringing the level 2, level 3 of the daycare kit, which can address the growing requirement of the children in the advanced age. And we are proud and we are also feel privileged that Educated Kids could conceptualize the whole concept and brought out India's the first comprehensive daycare kit, and it's innovative in all aspects. In next 15 to 20 minutes time, I'm going to give you complete prospect how this daycare kit is innovative in all of its aspects. Now, before moving further to the various things that is available as a part of this daycare kit, let me give the very basic objectives what the daycare kit can help you to achieve in your center. Number one, it will help you to develop the sense of accomplishment among children. The recent research by WHO and CDC that shows that most of the children, they are not in a process of completing a particular task what they start. So such kind of behavioral trait they continue when the children they grow, and such trait may be detriment for their overall development, because in the professional life, when the children grow to their professional life, and if they do not have the sense of accomplishment of a particular task, then most likely they will be most unsuccessful person in future. So this help daycare kit will help in developing the sense of accomplishment in the children. Second objective, what we feel will help through this daycare kit is productively engage the child for creativity. Creativity is the buzzword nowadays, and those children who are more creative in their approach, they will be more likely to be successful in their future life. So this daycare kit will help you in this regard. Then one more important thing which is coming up, and as daycare professional or preschool professionals, you must have experienced that the pediatrician most often say that nowadays the nutrition part among children are missing to a great deal. So this daycare kit we have designed in such a way, this will help you tracking the nutritional requirements and daily calorie intake and daily calorie consumption of all the children who will be using this particular daycare kit. Then another thing which is very, very critical in India to create a productive mass in future is that healthy child, and healthy children help their they need to maintain their body mass index to a greater possibilities. As you know that more than 50% children in India, they are either stunted or wasted. Stunted are the children who are not having sufficient growth in terms of their height as compared to their age, as compared to their age. And wasted children are those children who do not improve or do not grow in their weight as compared to age. So one is height in compared to their age, and second one is the weight in compared to their age. So these two things define the growth of the children. One is contribute as a daycare professional if we can track those things for all the children coming to a center as a daycare children. Then one more important aspect is that water intake among children. So you'll be surprised to know that in India, more than 75% of the children, they are not having adequate intake of water. As we all of us know, most of our body organs, starting from liver to eye to brain, they have 70, more than 70% of the water intake in them. So now logically we can infer this conclusion: if water intake will be insufficient among children, then the overall organ growth, whether it is eyes, it is any limb, it's liver, it's heart, it's brain, the potential growth of such organs will not happen. So this is the water intake. Water intake is very, very important from that matter. As a daycare professional, we must know. And as a part of the daycare kit, we have to ensure that how much the child uh, need that water intake based on the age of the child, and whether this child is maintaining that requirement of water or not. So this is another objective this particular daycare kit I'm just discussing about is going to fulfill that. Now, ensure right social skill development. A recent convention in one of the early child development in US, they concluded forget about other skills, language or cognitive skill or other skills which is required for a child to become very, very highly professional in the approach. If social skills will be taken care, it is more likely the child will be 90% successful even if the literacy skills and cognitive skills are not taken to the fully extent. And daycare, in the daycare, when the child spends more than 6, 7, 8 hours in a daycare center, and if the daycare professionals are not supporting in improving their social skills, then it will be really not very, very, good signal for the daycare centers that they contribute for the development of the child. So this particular daycare kit, we are ensuring that very basic social skills are taken care through this. The child learns slokas and other moral values is one of the another objective for this daycare kit. We know that most of the parents that they are very, very aspirant that this child should know very basic slokas, very basic moral values. So those things also we have taken into account and ensure that this particular daycare kit will take care of all these things. So now coming to uh, the daycare kit as a package that we have brought to take care of all the objectives we discussed, what you are going to get in the kit as a whole. So first and foremost thing is that all these things I just tried to explain as a part of objective of the daycare kit. It requires a very, very quick reference. If we are talking about nutrition, we are talking about weight management, we are talking about water intake, where is that reference? How much I should work in my daycare center to ensure all these things are fulfilled? To make sure we have got first component of the daycare kit is the information booklet. This booklet will give you all such necessary information and how you can manage those information in your daycare kit in order to manage a child will be provided through this information booklet. So this is the very, very important document to manage the daycare center. And it gives also how to manage everything step by step approach. It's a very easily done. So the moment you read it, you can understand very well how to manage all these things that we discussed just now. So apart from this information booklet, we have got 8 months complete kit that is full with all these things that we discussed. That includes all the yoga and prayer. This includes origami art. This includes paper craft. This includes painting. This includes creative craft. This includes counting numbers. This includes coloring exercises. So all these things are put up together into every month. One booklet is designed for 1 month. So this is first month, this is second month booklet, this is third month booklet, this is fourth month booklet, this is month five booklet, this is month six booklet, this is seventh month, and this is finally 8 months. Now you may be asking why 8 months, why not 12 months? We have realized that when the child comes to the daycare center, then mostly 2 to 3 months or 4 months time they do not come to the center during because of some holidays, because parents they don't require the child should be spending time in the daycare center. So considering that, we find that 8 booklets, sometimes one booklet may be overlapping to the next few days of the next month. So considering that, we have got 8 months kit which will be well taken care of in a complete year for a daycare children. So this is what you are going to get in the daycare kit for your center. Now coming to little bit of technicalities, because I know all of you are professionals in daycare as well as pre school segment, also in early child development. So we adopt a methodology that is called impact methodology for creating this daycare kit and uh, implementation of such kit in the daycare center. And this impact methodology is the inbuilt methodology of a Adivaret kit. So what we do in this impact methodology as far as the daycare management is concerned. Now, these things I have been talking to you very often. That is was the sensitive period. If such skills are not developed during 2 to 6 years of age, then most likely the child will never ever get that impact or that intensity in terms of getting those skills in future years. So, because of this concept, which was developed through a research in 1999 in US, we are following the same system and same research outcome, that if a child will be structurally and very well designed manner, the skill will be taken care of, then the child's trajectory of development will be at least 40 to 50% better than those children who are not being taken care of. So some point of time, this research also indicates in a daycare center, if everything will be managed in a structured way, then the chance of child skill development in terms of getting the best professional life is 40 to 50% much better, or much better probability than those children who are spending time in a daycare center without any structured program inbuilt into that daycare center. So with this logic, what we have built as the impact methodology is this. First, I is the input. We should have a better inputs. Whatever daycare things we are just planning or doing, structured way of managing those things, we should have better inputs. Then we should have better methods. Even if we have lot of inputs, what method do we follow to take care of the 7, 8 hours of time of the child's productive age? Then after that, we should have a structured process, because anything, whether it's a daycare, it's a school, anything, we must follow a very structured process. That is the P. And all the activities we should have in a daycare center, they must be functional activities. Functional activities are those activities which is linked to some kind of outcome. Then nurturing the creativity. Creativity is the watchword and the most important word that we as preschool stakeholders or daycare experts, we should bring in the children, so that parents must understand if their child is staying in a daycare center, they are better off than those children who are not spending time in daycare center. and the money or the amount of effort they spend in terms of keeping their child in a daycare center, they should get at least much more value in terms of returns, in terms of their child's overall growth. And finally, everything we do, if we do I, M, P, A, and C, then automatically there will be a transformation in the child. I'll just tell you how the transformation can be measured through this daycare kit. So this is all about our impact methodology. We have a better input, we have a better method, we have a better process, we have a better activity, we have the objective of creativity, and by putting everything, we are ensuring there is a transformation in the child. And how do we get all these things? As I said, this daycare kit is full with all these things: yoga, prayers, origami art, all these things, what you can see on your left hand side of your screen. And all these things we do. First, what we do as a part of impact methodology, we have a timetable management. Second thing we do in the daycare kit, we have a complete activity management, we have got nutrition management, we have got weight management, and finally we have got social skill management. So these are the five top management things we have designed that very structured way, so that everything can be provided in the daycare kit very, very structurally. Now, very quickly, I'll just take you through how we just manage everything. First comes to the timetable management. In timetable management, you can see every month we have a very structured thing that when a child gets into the daycare center, start with the date, we enter the time, we enter the snack time management, we also measure the calorie intake, we measure the sleep time in the daycare, we have the home work time in the daycare center, center activity time, social skill activity time, how much time is spent, outdoor play time. So overall, why we have put this template in each month's daycare kit is that to ensure that if the time of the child is managed and maintained well, then it is more likely the child's growth will be much better as compared to those children who are not following a very structured timetable. It's very, very important. You will just go through, scan through any research that is done across the world for any kind of daycare centers who are basically Denmark or Netherlands. They're the very best daycare centers in the world. You can just scan through that. First and foremost thing they follow is their maintain a time for every day. So if you follow this particular principle and this particular kit, first thing you have to enter the date and rest of the things will be followed automatically. And as a daycare center head or your owner, what you need to look at is ensure that this format is filled on a daily basis. If it is filled on a daily basis, rest of the things will be a matter of time. It will be fall well in structure. So this is first, we have a timetable management. Later, we'll be having a very structured training program how to fill every bit of the time that the child spends in the daycare center. Second thing, we'll have to manage the activities because the child spends quite a lot of time in the center. And what we do, we provide the provision of sufficiently engaging time in the daycare center for which the child will develop the creativity and the child will develop the sense of accomplishment. Now, what we do, this is a typical way of our a month's activities. You can check here. It starts with everything. It is origami, it has handprint, it has CD craft, it has dot to dot Christmas tree, coloring monkey, lot of things that is, provided in a particular month. And this in the right hand side, whatever list you can see, you can get everything that is designed in the month. And there are so many activities which is a daily based activities. Although it is consuming one page in the activity book, for example, recitation of shlokas or yoga that is designed for that particular month. So those will be the daily activities for the whole month to ensure that the child is absolutely comfortable in doing all these things. Then another thing we just put as a activity in the daycare kit is that we have provided each month is a color coded month. That means each color code is linked to a particular activity, and that particular activity can be done on the whole month. For example, if we talk about yellow stands for example, it is peace. Yellow stands for it is aspiration. So to develop aspiration and peace in the children, what kind of activities should be done in the center, that also appears in the daycare kit. So this daycare kit in a nutshell takes care of all the requirements that is needed for developing a child to gain as much as skill that is possible. So this is all about activity management. Then coming to the third point, which is nutrition management. I have already talked about this nutrition management, and it will be tracking all the calorie intake and nutrition consumption of the child. This information booklet provides, you can see here, that infants up to 1 year, how much of the kilocalorie intake is required. Child between 1 to 3 years, how much of kilocalories requirement is there for the child. Similar for each age group, we have provided that. And against that, what is the Indian basically consumption, what the children basically consume, you can just take a note, uh, which is I have picked up this particular thing from the information booklet. And this provides that if we consider carbohydrates, that should be 50% ideally a child should consume. And what they should include, it has a list, complete list, starting from idli, upma, puri, rice, roti, jalebi, gulab jamun, all these things. And equally portion also we have given, and corresponding kilocalories, how much of kilocalories it consists, so that not only you can provide the support to the parents in terms of telling that how much of carbohydrate the child should consume, at the same time you should also say that how much of kilocalories the child is consuming when the child selects any particular type of food. Similarly, if you look to the proteins, we have a detailed list of proteins, and that should be 20% ideally a child should consume on a daily basis. And from where those proteins come from, we have also a list. And again, the portion size and corresponding the kilocalories each portion contains, that also given in information booklet. Same is the thing with fats, dietary fiber, vitamin A, B, C, D, E, K, calcium, and all fruits and vegetables. Everything is given so that you can take them as a kind of reference while you are managing the nutrition and food in the daycare center. It's not only helping the child, but as a daycare expert, when you explain those things to parents, then you are completely giving a solution to a biggest problem in India, that most of the children who are deficient in various vitamins or proteins or dietary fiber. So you are also
Second,
giving
sir.
some kind of advisory to the parents. We'll just take all the queries at the last of the, we'll be taking another 5 minutes to
Okay.
complete. After that, we'll be
Okay.
taking the queries. And same, as I said, one of the most important component the parents are forgetting, or the daycare providers are forgetting, the consumption of water or water intake in the child. First and foremost thing we are providing here in this daycare kit is that how much ideal water consumption for a child at different age group. So we must know that, and the water consumption is directly linked to the weight of the child, not age of the child. If the child is between 3.5 kg to 10 kg of weight, then the water intake, for example, 100 ml for kg of weight. For example, if a child is 10 kg of weight, then the total consumption water would be 1 liter minimum per day. So that's how it has to be calculated. So everything is given. I need not take time here to explain everything. And during our training session of the daycare kit, we'll be talking in details how the water intake can be managed well for a child. Then coming to the next one is the weight management. Weight management, as I said, there are two components. One is wasted, one is stunted. One is height of the child in relation to the age. Another is the weight of the child in relation to the age. And here it's very, very important if it can be tracked on a regular basis. And daycare centers are the professional centers, and they should be having all the amenities to track this weight management every month. So for that one term, we should know that is called BMI or body mass index. And body mass index defines whether the child is underweight, if the child is healthy weight, a child is overweight, everything will be understanding from this particular BMI. And we have also given how to calculate the BMI in the daycare center. And for that, we need to measure the height of the child as well as the weight of the child. And based on that, as we know, children up to 6 or 8 years of age, we cannot have their BMI calculated from the method that we have given here. And it has to be a reference to a reference system. So what WHO has done, WHO has created two references. One is for boys and one is for girls. So based on the BMI we calculate, it has to be compared with the referencing of the BMIs that is given by WHO or World Health Organization. And how to compare them, how to refer those things, everything is well defined in that information booklet, and it will give you complete understanding how to define that whether the child maintains a healthy weight or not. So this is all about our weight management. And the fifth one is the social skill management. And social skill management, as I said in the beginning, it is one of the very, very important component that each daycare center should follow in order to create the very basic requirement of the social skills. If child is good in social skills, the child can manage rest of the skills without much difficulty. But if the social skills are deficient, then even if you have other skills, then the utility of the overall skill of the child will be somewhere, it will be compromised. Now, there are 8 social skills we brought into this daycare kit. First three, part one, we are talking about social cooperation skill. Second part, we talk about social independence skill. Third one, we talk about social interaction skill. And from part four till part eight, we deal with various problematic behavior of the child and how those problematic behavior can be managed in a daycare setup. So for that, every month we have a set of checkpoints that we track, and based on that, we take corrective measures how we can improve on those problematic behavior. So this is all about social skill management, and again, how to deal with each and every checkpoints that is given in each 8 months component, that is very well defined in the information booklet. You need not worry how to manage those things. Now, after that, once we manage everything, it is the time to talk to the parents and provide that guideline, provide that advice as a daycare expert to the parents. And then only you can establish your daycare as the highly professionally run daycare center. So these reports are very, very essential for the parents to have a look and work on them. First report we include in the daycare kit, that is called time management. So now if you look how a child is spending time in the daycare centers, for example, total time spent in the daycare, what is the total time in hours? If a child is spending 6 hours every day and child spends 20 days, so it will be automatically 120 hours. So how you get all these things? As I said, we have a template that every day the child's detail has to be filled. So this can be calculated from the timetable when we just count all these things. And the details of the examples, how to calculate everything is already given in the information booklet. Total time spent in sleeping, that is no need to say. All the pediatricians, they talk about the sufficient sleeping time, so that can also be tracked from our report. And total time spent on homework, because some of the children, they come to the daycare center and parents, they demand their homework have to be managed in the daycare center. How much time is spent for that purpose, that can also be tracked. Time spent on skill development activity, that's where all the focus would be on this here. Because if the daycare centers are not spending time on skill development of the child, then sometimes we feel that this daycare centers efficacy is missing some point of time. So we have to create that. And total time spent on outdoor play, that is also very, very important. So we can also track. See, whether it's happening or not happening, that is not important. But having a tracking of everything is very important so that either parents or we as the daycare experts can, bring some corrective measures for that. So that is first report. Now, second report, we talk about learning management, where the child spends so much time, so much of productive time, what the child is achieving at end of this month. That is also very, very important. If you look to the 7 points, we just bring in the report for every month, and this is part of the every month's report card also. Child independently makes origami craft. Here, I'll just bring one thing to your attention. We have seen in many of the daycare centers, the care providers or the preschool teachers, in fact, they do 80% of the origami craft, and finally they put the name of the child on the origami craft. This may be looking very good to parents. Parents should be, happy for the time being. What's happening to the child's skill? Child is not learning anything. But the moment we say this, the child independently makes origami craft through this report, either we'll be saying yes, we can say with help, or no. That gives parents a too much of confidence on the center. Yes, I can check that my child can do this origami craft, what the child has learned in this particular month through this report only. Then, if you can just look to the second point, child was confident in organizing all the activities done in the month. Organizing skill is a big skill, and that's what we are just trying to achieve for the child. So that's also we are just the moment we are filling up this report and we are 100% sure the child is doing all these things, then parents also developing confidence, saying that no, this daycare center is taking absolute care to do all these things. I'm not saying that you just do it free of cost, charge that premium because you are providing these value added services to the parents. You can charge a premium of 60, 80% as compared to other daycare centers because you have taken all the efforts to implement all these things. Now imagine the child recite the sloka taught in this month well. Yes, to some extent or no. The moment, for example, you as a daycare center putting a tick mark on the yes, parents will be looking forward which sloka that my child is reciting quite well. So it goes without saying that without the child testing the child, if the child is reciting the sloka well or no, not, you cannot put a tick mark on the report. That is the power of the report sending to the parents at end of the every month. And while doing all these seven, you can also create a score, learning achievement score, simply by giving 1 mark to all these first columns, zero point 0.5 to the second, and 0 to the third column. You can add the scores and put simply the total score, whatever coming here, you can add here. You can just find the score here. If the child is more than 90%, daycare objectives are 90% achieved. Our child is excellently doing all these things. 70 to 90% is good, less than 70%, child needs improvement, and we have to give more attention to the child's performance in the daycare center. So, this is about the learning management. And coming to the next report, which is talking about nutritional management, we have discussed on that. And this report in the month will also provide how many days the child has consumed carbohydrate, how many days the child has consumed protein, fat rich food, vitamin rich food, fiber rich food, even junk food. That can also be mentioned here. That will give a kind of indication if there will be a requirement, and parents should take a note if the child's nutrition intake is absolutely fine or not. Then also average daily intake of calories we can just put. If, for example, ideal calorie intake for a child is 1,000 kilocalories, and how much in that particular month child has consumed in the daycare center. That also gives that, calculation, and it gives an average requirement calorie also for that child in that particular age. How much is requirement, that also we give. Now, by looking to the last bottom two numbers, it will give automatically a conclusion how much was the requirement and how much my child is actually consuming. Child is consuming more, child is consuming less. If the child is consuming less, then it becomes automatically the responsibility of parents as well as daycare staff to bring little bit more in terms of the intake. So that's what the report can help the daycare center as well as parents in managing this. And next report is all about weight management. We have got the age in years and months, because every age, every month varies, the weight varies from month to month. And we calculate the weight, calculate the height, and calculate the BMI. And based on the reference, we have to interpret whether the child is underweight, child is healthy weight, child is overweight, or child is obese. So maintaining the healthy weight, research says if the child is healthy weight, appropriately weighed, then every skill we try to bring the child chance of getting all these skills is very, very high as compared to if a child is underweight or overweight. So that's where this weight management is very, very important. That's what most of the advanced nations, they track everything from the child, the day child is born. But we just take those things so lightly and we feel that everything chalta hai kind of attitude. So if we want to make a professional way of managing the child, we have to bring sooner or later such kind of things in our daycare center. And finally, we have the social skill management. We have the either social skill score or problem behavior score. I have taken that as an example, which is coming from month 6 or 7. That's why we just measure the problem behavior score. So how it is coming? It is coming from the respective page that is in the daycare kit for that particular month. And based on that, we can say that whether there is some problem behavior the child is exhibiting, or average problem behavior, moderate problem behavior, or significant problem behavior. So if behavior is significant, then this report gives us where the problems are. The moment you open that particular social skill page, you will know that where is the problem the child is exhibiting, so that we need to take action on that. So that's where the whole thing will give a complete picture about the child's growth and development as a part of the daycare management. So this is how the 4 5 reports looks like at end of the every month. And calculation of these reports is very, very easy, although it sounds little bit of technical, but I'm sure with the training, with the hand holding from educated kids, making the reports every month will be creating huge, huge value to the parents who are leaving their children in your center as daycare support system. So that's all. And this is what we again proud to announce is India's first comprehensive daycare kit. Has got 9 books in the kit. One is information booklet and 8 books for each month. And we have priced that as 999 complete kit. All the 9 books together with everything, it's 999. If you book right now for your center, we'll provide you 20% discount on that. And after November first week, this discount will not be available. We'll be selling that at the MRP only, because we know that the amount of value addition we have created through this kit, it's this price is nothing. The amount of professionalism you will bring to your daycare center, it is immense. In that regard, this MRP is nothing. And if you want to book it, we have already shared you the link, and you can go directly to EduVaret website, which is www.eduvaret.in, and you can directly book by clicking on the very homepage. You can click and book the kit, and you may not do the payment system there. That will give us that how many kids you need for your daycare center, that will give the information. And based on that, we can just work on, and our team will be coordinating with you to supply the required number of kids to your center. So that's all. We thank you for your patient hearing, and I'm sure that